What's going on, America? It's Kevin from Kevin's Corner. Now, by now, you all know that follow my channel that I like to stir up the pot. I like to go ahead and challenge folks' reasoning and justification for why they're doing things. See, as a human, you should never just wander around aimlessly and doing stuff with no purpose and just hoping something happened. Making certain, gestures and decisions, and it has no purpose. See, when people do or say something, usually it has an origin or a meaning or a purpose. And if it doesn't, then why are you doing it? See, I never forget when we was in college, the coach asked one of my boys, hey, Robert, how many times are you going to do that? And he kind of brushed him off. I don't know, coach. And the coach was like, hey, Robert, if you don't know, who knows? What he was really saying is, don't give me the brush off answer. I want you to stop, internalize your decisions, and justify it. Don't just throw out some, I don't know, coach. Hey, if you don't know, who knows? Get me in touch with the person that's in control of your brain so I can ask them a series of questions about why you just did what you just did. So, with that being said, when I look at the folks on my other Facebook page that's, they're going at it and they're arguing with folks, I'm throwing out some questions. I say, you know what? First of all, tell me, what is everyone's opinion or definition between conservative and, liberal? The second one was, what do you interpret or think is the difference between Republicans and Democrats? And then finally, what is your expectation when you decide I'm going to vote for the Republicans versus the Democrats? Because my thought is that it's going to come down to this difference: personality versus policy. Now, when you look at how the Democrats campaign, their strategy, all of that stuff, they focus on things that deal with emotions, deal with you liking a person based on your perception of that person versus who that person really is. They do things like say, you know what, instead of looking at productivity, look at personality. See, we don't have to really provide a lot of productivity or results. We just got to woo you with sweet, kind words and personality. At the end of the day, you end up voting for a person who you think is a good person based on the surface, based on how slick they talk, how oily, how winsome they appear, how the use of their vocabulary makes them sound intelligent, versus a guy maybe who's grimy, who speaks his mind, who hacks up some sentences and all of that stuff, but is getting it done. Now, any of these voters out there that have to weigh this dilemma, you got to ask yourself, well, if I was a owner of a company, a CEO or something, and I got to hire someone, would I hire the guy that comes in like, hello, how are you? Yeah, well, see, I went to Harvard University. I graduated to the top of my class. I love everyone. I believe that everyone should be included in the decision-making process. All people need to be valued in the company. Now, all of that. But at the end of the year, the fiscal year, y'all done lost money. All of that. But people on the job are still walking around like, he's such a nice guy, but ain't getting results. Or you're bringing someone who, yeah, you're going to be fair to everybody, but you're not going to let folks' excuses and whining and all of that complaining stop progress. You're still going to hold these people accountable, and you're still going to drive the bigger goal and objective, which is to make a profit that will eventually bless everybody in the company along with others. That's who you're going to hire. See, so when it comes down to Trump versus Biden, or simply Republicans versus Democrats, when I decided to become a conservative, there were factors. One, I need to see which direction the party is going in regards to society. Are you focusing on issues in society that means nothing to me or the average person, like transgender bathrooms and all of that stuff? Or are you focusing on other things in society like crime, violence, all of that stuff? Secondly, I'm going to say, well, you know what? Does this party supports my moral beliefs? Or do they trample on them and redirect my attention from that to some made up fictitious issue in society? Yeah, I mean, white nationalism is on the rise. Stats ain't showing it. The biggest threat to black men is racism and police brutality. Stats ain't showing that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, well, y'all are always hinting that Christians they need to be more tolerant. Y'all always snubbing your nose at the Bible until you need to use it for political reasons. All of these things. Y'all always are deeming everybody else to be racist. Y'all always hinting around to everyone needs to think like you think and do what you do. All of that stuff scares me because you might just try to compromise my moral compass. And then thirdly, instead of looking at personality, I'm thinking, well, forget personality. I'm looking at productivity. So now you look at Trump in 4 years, all the stuff that he has accomplished versus Biden in 40 years that have accomplished nothing. And the only thing that he really has attached to his name in regards to black folks, minority, and all of them is a crime bill that helped lock up all the folks that he's now running around talking about. So this is systemic racism and black people shouldn't go to jail for just a simple first-time drug charge. And I'm going, they went to jail for all those years because of a bill that you wrote. See, but other folks just go right over their head. And then what do? Tap into all those folks that are voting off of personality. They tap into all those folks that are so emotionally manipulated by them making up all these narratives of racism, sexism, and all that stuff. And they say, Donald Trump, even though he might get things done, and you might be able to look at the productivity that he has done in 4 years, why focus on that, though, when he's so abrasive? He's so crass. He tweets. He calls people names sometime and all of this stuff. He's arrogant. So what? He's productive. So when you vote, you got to ask yourself, in the current climate that we're living in right now, a lot of it created by globalists and Democrats that don't want to see Trump get back into the White House. When you look at some of the fallout prior to COVID and after COVID, when you look at the jobs starting to trend up, who do you trust? Person with a proven track record, I would think. Trump not only was a successful businessman, but he came in, became a president, and has been having a successful presidency. And in my opinion, I still think it is successful. Even after COVID, I've said up front, we didn't need to lock it down. We didn't even shut down the government and all of that stuff. The economy didn't need to do it, but it's done. Now, if Trump wouldn't have built up a strong economy and then COVID would have hit and we'd have shut it down right now, we would be like Venezuela. That economy is being sustained by how big and strong it got when Trump got it to the level that it is. Not to mention, who's going to continue that trend taking it up this way? You think creepy, sleepy, sloppy, slimy, sleazy Joe will? Huh? He's never done it. Who is going to bring stability and safety to our streets? Do you think creepy, sleepy, slime is going to do that? Do you think he cares about social violence and stuff like that? No. The people who's doing it right now is doing it in their name. They're connected to the whole Democratic Party. That's their hit squad. That is the mafia sending the tough guy to all the folks that's trying to just make a living and want to be left alone and saying, hey, if you're going to operate on this street here, you're going to have to pay up. That's what you're going to have to do. And they're trying to get all these folks in line to force them to embrace this socialist, globalist movement and vote Democratic so they can continue on the journey that they've been on, which is to destroy this country and usher in socialism, communism, and globalism. So I suggest all of those with the funny feelings on the inside and the emotions, stop looking at personality, okay? Look at policies, all right? Forget about personality, and you need to look at productivity. Now, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin Corner. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And check out Extreme Tees. In my last video, I told y'all these are spontaneous videos, so I'm not riding around in an Extreme Tees clothing. And honestly, I wear their clothes more than, I mean, my own clothes. I bought a whole bunch of clothes. I'm like, extreme tees. I'm throwing their stuff and roll. But anyway, I suggest that you go check out the website. If you like something, put Kevin in the promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. And if you want to contribute to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, feel free. The link's below. God bless. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.